Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to Morning Verses with Mike. Thank you for getting up and joining me this morning. Thanks for getting up early for some of you, or depending on what time it is where you might be at. You know, a reminder, I'm doing this each Monday through Friday morning at 6:15 a.m. and I would love to have you join me and participate. And the goal is just to share the Word of God, share my faith, and share some positivity out in the world, get people pumped up and fired up for their day. So first things first, if you would do me a favor and just click that share button, that would be fantastic. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Brian. Nice to see you guys this morning. So this morning, as with every morning, I'm going to be sharing from the New Living Translation of Every Man's Bible. And I like this Bible because it is a bit updated verbiage. It's got, it's a study Bible, so there's extra, there's extra information and such to share. So I'm going to dive into that in just a moment. As I've said to everybody, for the people that are regular watchers of this show, what I'm going to do is I am going to be on a break next week. Call it Christmas vacation, if you will. Hang out with my kids and such. And then in January, I'm going to relaunch my original 30 days of Bible verses. So I would love for you to join me along that journey. But I'm going to kind of be wrapping this and take a little bit of a break and work on some other things. But I am going to keep the videos going. So I would love for you to continue to tune in and join me. That would be fantastic. And one thing that I sometimes forget to ask people is if you have a verse that's impacting you, because I am a believer that the Bible speaks to us differently at different times in our lives. We can read the same verse, same information, it has the same verbiage, but we get a little bit different message depending on where we're at and what we need to hear. It's what God is providing to us. So if you have a verse that's impacting you, please share it in the sidebar. I'd love to have that conversation. Share a verse on your page. Tag me in it. I'd love to have that conversation. So we can keep talking after the video. Knowing that, let's dive into this morning. So I'm going to be reading from Acts chapter 2, verse 23. So Acts chapter 2, verse 23, if I don't get lost here, reads, "But God knew what would happen, and his prearranged plan was carried out when Jesus was betrayed. With the help of lawless Gentiles, you nailed him to a cross and killed him." Now this is Peter preaching to the crowd, right? I'm going to reread that because I'm going to dive into this first part here for a little bit. It says, "But God knew what would happen, and his prearranged plan was carried out when Jesus was betrayed. With the help of lawless Gentiles, you nailed him to a cross and killed him." Now, keep this in mind. God knows all, right? He knew the beginning just as he knew the end. He knew this for Jesus. He knows the path, the plans, and the outcomes for you and I. He already knows. Stop trying to second guess. Stop trying to question what is already known to be. Just walk with him and stay with him. Stay true to Jesus. Stay true to God. Stay true to the Word, right? If you start down a path alone, then often, like if I take off and I say, I'm going to head down this path, I'm more likely to be worried about where the path leads because I don't know the path. Make sense? And so if you start down a path with a guide, if you start down a path with somebody that already knows the way, then you know that you can safely make it down the path and you can take your time to see all the wonderful things that the journey has to offer, right? You can enjoy the scenery and enjoy the journey because you already know I've got this guide with me that is going to get me and going to help me get to the end, right? We can all make it further. We can see more. We can do more if we have a guide. So I encourage you this. Let God be your guide. That's the first part of that verse. God knew it would happen as his prearranged plan was carried out, right? He already knew. And I know that may be a different way to look at it. Well, I'm likening that to walking down the path, but if God already knows the path, he already knows the setup, then walk with him as your guide, right? Even in the very end of the verse, it says, then the plan was carried out, Jesus was betrayed. in the end of the verse, God knew of the coming crucifixion. He knew that the long-term outcome would be greater than the temporary pain. He knew that it would be our salvation being paid in full. He knew. So as painful as it may have been at the time, he already knew the path. He already knew what was to come. So I encourage you to stay with him, walk with him. Good morning, Ryan. Ryan says, God transcends time. God transcends time. The message transcends time. All of it, it's as true now as it ever was. So that's it for this morning. That's my message. Sometimes I get all fired up and I'm going, and that's how it's just how God is speaking to me right now in the moment. So I'm telling you that first part of that verse is just what was really speaking to me and hitting me, that it's like God knows what will happen. Let God be the guide. He knows the outcome. He knows the outcome is greater than the temporary pain. So I encourage you, let God be your guide. I know I've said it like 6 times, but someone needs to hear it. Someone needs that reminder this morning. So thank you for getting up and joining me. Please, by all means, jump in here and join me each morning, 6:15 a.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Friday. Like I said, I'll be off next week. I'll probably post some of the daily Bible verses. If you're not subscribed to that, go to Bible.com and subscribe to the daily Bible verses, because that is a great way to get some daily Jesus in your life. And, gosh, there was something else I was going to... Oh, so yeah, since I'm doing that next week, and then like I said, in January, I'm going to relaunch my 30 Days of Bible Verses. It's almost a year ago now. So I'm going to reshare those. I would love for you to join me. And thank you so much for the people that did join me. Ryan, I hope I got you fired up this morning too. Michelle, Brian, the few others that watched. Again, sometimes I can see all the names and sometimes I can see the few. So if you're joining live, thank you so much. If you are watching later, thanks. Share the word, spread it out, share the video. Love to see you again soon. Until we speak next, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. We'll talk to you soon, everybody.